In this video, I will go over some of the most traded Forex pairs for next week in a technical analysis. Then we will also go over the economic calendar to point out some of the events I think will be important for the next week. So some of the Forex pairs we will go over are the Euro against the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, the Great Britain pound against the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar, the Great British Pound against the US dollar, and the Great British Pound against the Japanese yen. So if you want to see an analysis for the next week of these pairs, stick around and then I will see you in a minute. Welcome back everybody. As I said earlier, we will begin with the economic calendar on myfxbook.com. Basically looking at all the economic events and determining which ones will be important for the upcoming week. So this is the upcoming week, September the 20th. Starts with, so we see on Monday, I don't think there's anything important there. Tuesday, also not that important, only medium impact economic events. But still, personally, I think it's interesting to look at this building pyramids. I think that's just interesting to see what is happening in the United States, and to be honest, the US dollar reacts, or it can react quite a lot to medium impact events as well, depending on the outcome. If it is way lower or way higher, then the effect might be quite extreme. So that's something I will look out for on Tuesday, but nothing else. Maybe the meeting minutes, some interesting things can be said in those. But I'll just make sure to not trade the Australian dollar in the night from Monday till Tuesday. Then the interest rate decision for Japan, I think that's interesting. I am not quite sure what the what everyone is saying about it, but the consensus is that it won't change. So I think then it's more interesting to look at what they say with it, with the statement. And then it's very interesting, the existing home sales, and even more interesting, the interest rate decision. Although I do not think this will change, I do think that it's really important what they will say in the press conference. Of course, because with all the inflation rate going on, I think they have to do something about the interest rate. So that's very interesting to look at. Then the market services PMI is interesting to look at, or it's 1 o'clock at night right here, so I probably won't look at it, but still to look out for and check the day after. I don't think this is too important for the euro. Most of the times the euro pairs don't really react to economic events of one specific country, even though Germany is the biggest country in Europe in terms of economy. So I'd rather look out for the PMI of the euro region in total, together with the PMI of the Great British Pound. I think that's very interesting as well. Again, also together with the interest rate decision and with the meeting minutes. Meeting minutes you can easily find online. I would strongly suggest to look at that. Yeah, they always give great hints at their economic policy in this one. Same, I don't think they will change the interest rate, but it's more important to actually listen to what they tell with it. Also, retail sales, United States PMI, jobless claims. Initial jobless claims is the one I look at the most. So all with all, the Thursday is heavily packed. A lot of movements I think that day. And then Friday, the new home sales I think could be interesting, but I think the major moves, oh, and also the inflation rate, consumer confidence, I don't think that's that important. Business climate neither. So new home sales and the inflation rate could be important, but as I said earlier, I think the most momentum will come out of Thursday, and I think it will kind of continue on the Friday. So yeah, that's my analysis for the economic calendar. Let's now actually get into the technical analysis of the Forex pairs. So welcome back to the technical analysis part, where we're actually going to go over the pairs. We will start with the euro against the Australian dollar. Basically how I analyze pairs, if you haven't watched my other videos, is I use a number of indicators such as 4 different EMAs, key levels, trend lines and Fibonacci retracement to find areas of confluences, and those areas I will determine myself if I think they're interesting for a buy or a sell. So here we have a red area, that's a sell, green area as a buy. Then you also have purple areas, and those are more areas of interest, which I haven't really determined yet if I want to buy or sell there. So this area I analyzed last week. It was in last week's forecast, and as you can see here, it just hit, and it did about 100 pips. I think this pair is in an uptrend, so there's not more interest in this, so I will do it away. And basically this is the euro against the Australian dollar, you can see above here. I think this pair will remain in an uptrend, possibly a little bit less than it did right here, but I think this area right here, so basically the 1.6 psychological key level together with hopefully EMAs and the third touch of this trend line, I think that would be a very good buy area. Definitely a good swing trade, because I am more of a swing trader and sometimes a day trader. So this was more of a day trade, this sell area. But I think this area would be a good swing area too. So that was the euro against the Australian dollar. Let's go to the euro against the New Zealand dollar. I think this pair is more difficult to analyze because there's no clear trend in this pair. Right here the price was moving sideways quite a long time, and then it kind of broke through, but I'm not really sure yet. I do think that, I mean, it has to move 150 pips for this area, but I do think this this red zone would be a nice area to sell, but preferably I would sell when it also has this trend line with it. So that's more like the beginning of October, or you can always grab the sell a little bit higher to illustrate it. Then, I mean, if you want to grab it right now, I'd grab it with the so then I'll do this. I would grab it a little bit higher at the 1.69 psychological key level, the 61.8 FIB, and the EMA and trend line. I think that's actually a very strong trade. So yeah, you can do that. And I'm not comfortable in buying this because I think this price might go into a downtrend with one of these sell areas. So I try not to buy in downtrends, and I think that if you wanted to buy, then this would have been the best area to do so. So it's a little bit too late for that right now. The next pair we will go over is the Great British Pound against the Australian dollar. So this is to me a little bit more clear. As you can see here, I have identified 2 buy areas, of which one is almost not valid anymore. This is the lower one based on the trend line, key level, and the Fibonacci and the psychological key level 1.82. Yeah, basically this is 600 pips away. I just don't think it's gonna reach it before the end of the green box. As you can see, this is in an uptrend by the EMAs, but also the price. So basically I think this would be a nice sell area based on the key level, the 1.91 and the trend line. Although I think that would be more of a day trade because it is a sell trade in an uptrend, and less so a swing trade. I think a better swing trade is this one here based on the trend line, the key level this Fibonacci and the 1.87, but I would only take this if the trend line is really there, so when the green box is there. I think that would be a very nice swing trade, so up. And then I also have located this purple box for if price doesn't really move a lot, or for example it hits the red box, it goes down, it hits the green box, because it is in an uptrend and because there's a lot of upwards momentum, I think it could break through this key level and actually retest right here at the height of the 1.9 psychological key level, which is of course a major psychological key level. It's 1.9. So together with that trend line, I think that would be I think that could be a very nice trade to follow the trend up. So the next pair is the Great British Pound against the Canadian dollar. In the last 3 weekly Forex forecasts, I did not really have an opinion on this, but that could change this week, because as you can see here, the Canadian the Great British Pound against the Canadian dollar has been ranging for quite some time, moving sideways essentially with some small trends within it. But what has happened right now is that I drew this trend line, and this trend line actually held for quite some touches. And although there was, at the height of this trend line and the key level, there was some resistance, it seems like there's a lot of upwards momentum. So basically I am waiting for the break of this key level, essentially the 1.76 psychological key level, not this full box. And also the break of this trend line, and then I might actually trade the retest of this trend line at the height of this purple box. But I'm not sure of that, so don't trade it right now. If I will become sure of it, I will post it on my Instagram in the form of a short little update. So make sure to follow the Instagram if you haven't already. It's Cilinix FX Capital, and there I will actually post if I will do this trade, and I have no other real points of interest. So the next pair is the Great British Pound against the Japanese yen, which has had a really strong uptrend, but right now I'm not quite sure what the price is doing. In my opinion, price is kind of moving sideways, might go into a consolidation. So that's the same as I said last week, if you have checked it out. So going further into that idea, I think that this could actually be a very good buy trade still, because this is the only, will be the first time that the 200 EMA has been touched, and it is together with the key level, the 38.2 Fibonacci level and the 149 psychological key level. And when it is consolidating, possibly between these two ranges, this one and this one, then I think this could be a nice trade. I would probably enter the trade at the height of the 200 EMA, and I think you could definitely get 130 to 150 pips minimum out of this, if it goes according to plan, if it stays in this consolidation, or what I think it is a consolidation. So that's the only setup I have for this. Again, if this trend line breaks, the whole situation changes. And you could place a trade at the retest of this trend line, but again, I cannot say anything about that right now. Then the Great British Pound against the New Zealand dollar, which has been in an uptrend, but a little bit less strong than the Great British Pound against the Australian dollar. And right here it actually looks like it has gone into a small downtrend, and that's why I also think that at the height of this trend line, you could place a very nice sell trade at the red box, at the retest of this trend line, because I possibly think that this will go into consolidation as well, or possibly a small downtrend. If it goes into a downtrend, then this could be a very nice swing area, and Otherwise, I think it could be a nice day trade as well. Ideally, I would take it at a 1.97 key level together with this trend line, but I would also do it at this key level. You can also see that price has reacted a lot to that. So I think this could be a nice sell trade. Going into the idea that it will be a consolidation, this pair, I think this could be a nice buy area, basically only based on the key level and the 1.92 psychological key level. But I just have a feeling that this is a very nice area. If it goes into a downtrend from here, so this trade becomes a swing trade, then this becomes a day trade. But if this is a day trade, so the price goes into consolidation, I think this could be a very nice holding area. Basically, because if this will be a consolidation, then I predict that this will be the lower bound of the range that it will consolidate in. If you have any questions about that, just ask me in the comments. I might have went a little bit too fast on that one. But yeah, that is the Great British Pound against the New Zealand dollar. And then lastly, we have the Great British Pound against the US dollar. So right now it is Friday night. Markets haven't really closed yet. Great British Pound against the US dollar is moving quite the same as the Great British Pound against the Japanese yen. So I'm not quite sure what to make of this. If it's still in an uptrend or that it is consolidating right now. Last week I set up this green area to buy, but right now I don't really know what to do, because I still think this is a good trade based on the key level, trend line, and the 200 EMA. Mostly so the 200 EMA and the trend line. But right now I don't think that this would be a good trade anymore, basically because if it hits right now, it's late at night on a Friday, so spreads are most of the time awful, and there's not enough momentum to actually bounce off of these indicators, and not enough volume. And if it doesn't hit now, it might hit on Monday morning, and Monday mornings are also known for spreads of 20 pips or more, which is a lot. So that's why I wouldn't risk this trade. I am very interested to see what it will do with this area though, but yeah, I wouldn't risk that trade. And I haven't really found any other setups for this pair either, although it is a very well traded pair. That's why I also will post updates on this pair, possibly in another video or on my Instagram account. But with having said that, we have reached the end of this weekly Forex Outlook. If you have any questions about any of the analysis or the economic calendar, make sure to ask me in the comments. I hope that you have learned something from this. And yeah, as I said earlier, you can ask anything in the comments relating to this video, but also to other videos or to the channel in general. And as for now, this will be the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.